Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the official first part of our Enterprise 1350 refit build. And we have the shuttlecraft bay here. So let's take a quick look at the parts, and we're going to go over some things we're going to be doing to these parts. First, we have the shuttlecraft bay floor. We have the ceiling, which has some nice kind of tech and piping details up here on the top. We have the sides, some details in there, and we have the back bulkhead, a little shelf. We have two clear pieces. We have this right here, and we have this right here. Oh, we also have the turbo lifts. These tiny little guys are the turbo lifts. They actually have a fair amount of detail on them for being so small. So let's take a look at these pieces in a little bit more detail here. Here's the floor to our shuttlecraft bay. I've done some sanding on this. Sanding on the underside here. Didn't need to up here because we won't be painting this actually. From here back we will. This we won't. We want light to transmit through this plastic. But I have sanded this up here. One, to help promote our paint to adhere. Two, because of these. See those? Those are pin marks for where the mold went together. Or rather, injection ports. You have a two-piece mold. On one of the pieces you have to have places to inject the plastic to create the piece you're trying to create. And for whatever reason, I have no clue, they decided to put all of these on the facing side and not the underside of a lot of the shuttlecraft bay pieces. Why in God's earth they didn't put these under here? Seriously, why? Why? Anyways, most people fill these with some putty. Not going to do that. You see, back here, we have the two up here, which I haven't taken off, and the two back here, which I have. I've just sanded these off. I'm just going to sand these stupid things off. It's less of a pain in the neck to do that than to fill it with putty and mess around with that stuff. But you can see, there used to be four, two up here, two back here. I sanded those things down. You can't even see a hint of them. I'm leaving these two because you'll never see up here when looking down through the back of the ship. There used to be one at each corner up here, as you can see, not even a hint of them. Just a little elbow grease and some 320 grit sandpaper. I will be doing the same up here. These will vanish. And that is what we're going to do to the bottom as far as preliminary work. Here's the top. I haven't done much work on this yet. I haven't even sanded anything yet. We have our piping and our cross members. These cross members are actually in a shot of the motion picture, and they are green. The rest of this, you can't really tell. So what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to paint this kind of a silvery or gunmetal-y gray or something like that, and then do a dry brushing over these parts just to bring out the details. Not that you will ever see them way stuck back in the shuttle bay, but we're going to do that anyways. And then I'll just hand paint these lattice that go across here green, and the rest of this gets painted in whatever colors the shuttle bay is. I don't know. I do know those are green. So yeah. Now we have our clear pieces here. Two clear pieces. I've already sanded these for a little bit of light diffusion. The nice thing about this piece is these are not extruded. They are actually divots in the plastic. So you can sand to your heart's content and you will not remove these details. These details will be getting painted green as well. And this just slides in here, snaps into place like that. And you can see that these grooves line up with this lattice work, so those will be getting painted green too. And then this little piece just clips in right on top here. Tricky, but there we go. Just like that. And we will be lighting this from above by inserting a long strip of LEDs on the top side of the strong back instead of directly to this. I think that would be the best way to light this. You have the bulkhead at the back. You don't really see this too much in the motion picture, if at all, but these are cargo containers. And you can see they have the nice detail on them. That detail is actually a different color than the surface, so we'll have to be doing a little dry brushing to make those pop. You will be able to see this. This is the very rear of the bay. And then there's our sides. Fairly detailed. Now I can see, again, those lovely mold release areas. They're all over the place. We have one here, right on this door. We have them all over in here. We have some back in here. I have just sanded those off. You can see I sanded them off on the side. That one is no longer there. I've gone in and removed that one and the ones over here. It is very tedious work. I'm going to remove the one at this back door, which you'll probably never see. But yeah. And lastly, we have our turbo lifts. I haven't done anything to these yet, really. I gave this one a little bit of a sand. But yet, you can see they are clear, they are detailed, fairly detailed. You see the little slats going up there? Those are going to have to be lit. We're going to have to be doing some creative masking, a lot of creative masking on this guy. So, and here's a look straight down the barrel of the shuttle bay. You can see a lot of detail on there. There's a lot of detail you can't see in there. And I'm noticing a few things, a few light leaks. Mainly these guys right here. Let's get a little close up on that. Yeah, we'll need to fill those. So, that's the one big thing I'm noticing so far. Since our shuttle bay is already temped together, I thought I'd throw it in the secondary hull here. Here are our main mounting points. I really want to illustrate how much of a space hog this cargo bay slash shuttlecraft bay is. It takes up a lot of room. In fact, it takes up pretty much, let's see here, oh yeah, all the room. So we're going to have to be really creative about where we put our lights. Anyways, I'm going to go and do some prep work. I'll catch you guys in a second. Here's a shot from the motion picture that I'm mainly using as a color guide because you wouldn't want to use it as a perspective guide or your brain would probably melt out of your ear. The leaning tower of turbolift is particularly messing with my head. Also, the simple fact that down at the end that door is obviously open and these people aren't being blown out into space is force fields? Anyways, so we see this is actually kind of color-coded. The cargo bay area of this is that green mainly, and the main drag of the shuttle, at least wall-wise, has a beigey off-white gray color, 70s. And we'll be changing the color of the floor on the main drag. In this shot, it is blue, but I'm going to change it to black for lighting purposes. Our turbo lifts are a beige and kind of brown mix. We'll be doing that. We have our walkways in blue. We have our I guess cargo doors in kind of a beige with some silvery gray highlights. Unfortunately, the model kit does not come with those cargo bays that the people are interacting with down on the floor. So, first let's look at our turbo lifts. I've given these a little bit of a sand to help paint to adhere to them. But as I was examining these and sanding them, I noticed something. It's kind of hard to tell. Again, they're clear, but right there, the windows here are wonky. They bend inward. Kind of hard to illustrate, but these bend inward. You can see it from the side. There's a definite bend here, and it's on both sides. One side is worse than the other. Not only is it on both sides of this, it's on both sides of this. So you got that bend right in there. You can see from the side the bend, and over here it's even worse. So we will definitely be having to pick a side to display this from the, I guess, less bent side. And this one's pretty bad on here. But yeah. It's time to edit some of this. Start the editing of the sides. Very long here. As you saw in the picture, we have these little details. They're actually on the kit. These little light things that are on those walls are present here on the kit. So we're going to take a very small drill bit and we're going to drill out all of these holes. I got one side with all the holes drilled out. You can see for the all those little lights. Now what we're going to do behind here is take a clear piece of plastic, paint it transparent blue, and then just mount it here and here after we're done with our light blocking and all our painting. We don't need to assemble that part until the very end. Right here on this piece there is a walkway. It's all the way across here. There should be a door here, but I don't even know how I would begin to make that door. I think I'm just going to paint a closed door in on both sides. But this walkway has a railing going all the way across it. So we need to build us a railing. So what we're going to do is take our microscopic drill bit again, this tiny little guy right there, and we're going to drill tiny little holes at each of these bulkheads to put in our railings. And we're going to be building our railings out of these little guys. I've got tons of these little guys. These are the ends of LEDs, and I have a ton of these because I've been saving them. So these are going to be drilled out and stuck in right about there, there, all the way along here. And we're going to have to do something about this. It's going to turn and mount into the wall. This end is a little bit different because we have this, our rear bulkhead here. Now, this railing turns and it goes across here. So we're going to have to create a railing that matches up to this railing we create for this. That's going to be a bit of a challenge there. So I want to get those holes drilled, but I want them to be as straight as they possibly can be. And eyeballing it isn't going to do the job because this is very small. So we're going to take a little bit of our masking tape. We're going to run it along the edge here to get a straight line, and then we're going to mark it off at each of these struts. And I'm making sure that our masking tape is right up against those struts, so I have a very nice line going down here for me to drill my holes out and get our railings in. And here's what our mask looks like in place. So now we just have to mark off where all of these are going to go. It's pretty easy. We just line it up like so. You can see it is have to line it up there, push in a little bit to make our mark. And we just do the same here. Push in a little bit to make our mark. And here, push in to make our mark. Right, oh, let's do that over. Let's do that right there. That's where that should go. And right about here. And right about over a little. About there. Leave a little mark, indents. We know where to drill. Just going to do that along here. And we'll start drilling our holes. Now we have all the holes drilled on this side for the railing. Difficult to see, but there they are. And there they are. So what I'm going to be doing is taking these little guys and just sliding them in the holes I drilled. Like so. You can see those will be our uprights for our railing. Just like that. I'm just going to get these all in and be right back. Alright, here are all the uprights just temporarily stuck in here, and yes, I did jam one of these right through my thumb trying to get these in here, but that is kind of what the ladder is going to look like. These aren't perfectly straight, but once we super glue them in, since they are metal, we can adjust them to be straight. I will be cutting these off too at the height I want my ladders, and for the top part of the ladders I'm just going to use more of this stuff, and I'll stick that up there and glue them together, and we'll have ourselves a neat little railing. Alright, so now we're going to add some paint to this, but before we add any paint to this, we need to mask off where we're going to light. So we need to get the decals and something else. Okay, so here is the decal that we need. This thing right here. We need to cut that out and get it on a light table. We now have the decal on our light table. Let's just turn that on. And with the light table, we can easily put a piece of paper over this and draw our lines exactly as we need them. Alright, now we have the outline for our stencil. So we'll have to cut this out of some tape and place it on the hull. We're going to need our light box again because we're going to be lining this up from the underside when we do our tape. Which I just realized I put the light box away. So I'll get that out again. Now the stencil is in place on our plastic. What we are doing is essentially a rubbing. I marked off both sides with a lot of graphite, and here I'm just taking a pencil and transferring that onto our plastic. So then we'll have a nice, neat set of lines to tape off for our mask. Very easy, kind of old method, but hey, sometimes the easy stuff works the best. A little bit of masking tape later, we have all of our lines in place. Okay, so we are ready to start painting this. I have all of my masking fluid, aka silly putty, in all the windows. The back sides are masked off too. We're going to get a black coat on all of this first, and then go from there. Well, we got a lot of painting done here, you guys. I'm still waiting for this beige and gray, whatever this color is. It's a light gray with a little bit of tan mixed in. It's very close to what I see in the artwork. But we got all our green done. We got our black done. We got this thing painted and detailed off. I still have to go back in and paint this blue, and this little area right in here is also blue. I did do some detail painting on these guys, like the back section here. I highlighted the back wall here and these sections in front of the cargo bay, or cargo pods, whatever they're called. Same thing here, and all those done there. these get blue too. I just noticed these little sections, little squares, get blue. And I'm going to be painting all the doors blue. This section is incorrect. This section is incorrect, unless they're using the, well, the concept art instead of Andrew Probert's painting. So this isn't quite the same. This isn't quite the same as we see in the motion picture. And I'm going to be painting these doors blue. This is not a door. This should be another cargo bay, but there's no decal for it, so I'm guessing they guess or think this is a door. We'll be painting it blue. We're painting these blue, this blue. It'll look nice. It'll be a nice contrast. It's in the same tone area as this green, so it'll look nice against the green. We do have some detail painting to do to this pillar. The sides of this are beige. The center, as far as I can tell, is either white or blue. It looks like this is a light strip, actually. Now that I look at the artwork, it goes along there, and it actually continues onto the floor here. So I'm going to leave this white. We did our landing bay. We got them, or landing lights. I guess this would be called landing strip lights. A little heavy on the paint, so I got a little overspray into my lines. Not a big deal. I'll just go and scrape that off. I already started scraping along this line, but I need to fix this and this over here. It looks pretty good. You can see light underneath it. I did mask off a little bit. Add a little paint there. We got a bunch of detail painting done on the top. I was going to paint this like a gunmetal, a dark gunmetal, but I decided to leave it black because I want the illusion that the ceiling is up further than this. I do want you to see all the nice coppers and aluminum and the chrome that I put in here, and some gold, a little bit of gold detail, but I didn't want you to see the ceiling itself. And when it's in there, it's pretty dark back there. It's almost in a light like that. So you do get the highlights, and you don't necessarily see the ceiling too well. I went and hand painted this metal section and the cross members here, and then this section all here and here. So here is this. I got that all painted, got it light blocked, and I got a green in there. And I think that's it. So all I have to do now is the blue. Blue for this, blue for that, blue for that, blue for that. But I need this to dry. It is still sticky. I can feel it. It's tacky. I'm going to let that dry all weekend, I think, because I don't want to mess that up. But let's just do a test fit. Let's put this together and see what it looks like. Alright, so here is the bottom assembled. Let's see. Looking back in there, you can see pretty far down in there. You can also see these little sections at the back here. My finger's going in front of. We have to address. Not sure why that fits so bad, but it is. Yeah, I can see going down there. And up in here, I don't have my railing on yet. That's one of the last things that's going to go on. I just don't want to risk busting those little things off. But yeah, not too shabby. So let's get the ceiling on. The one thing about this clear piece that goes in here, this is a super tight fit. So I don't really you have to do too much gluing to either of these. So let's just snap that on. Up here. This tends to pop up a little bit. There we go. And yeah, you can see I'm gonna have to get this. There we go. Actually, quite a bit of heft for such a. You wouldn't think so, but there is. And you can see down in there. Let's get a light in the top of this, so you can. Yeah. Not sure how bright I'm gonna have it, but kind of see the light in there. The cool thing is those lattice we light blocked. If you look, you can actually see on the floor way in the back there, you can see the lattice work. So our light blocking was a success. So this is actually the kind of light, as far as the back goes, that I would like in here. And let's see, up to the front. Oh, too high. Yeah, it's kind of hard to light that. And this doesn't need to be super light because it's close to the entrance. I don't think you're going to see... Oh, yeah, you can. You can see all the little lights. Barely, but you can see... If you squint, you can see those little lights we put... There we go. In the side there. Way in the back. So you will be able to see those. The windows I still have masked because I'm still painting. Yeah, you can see... that popped up. There we go. You can see those little tiny lights we put in the side. I can't make it show off on this side, but... Yeah, they're there. So yeah, that's the kind of light I would like in the back there. Just not overly bright. Kind of subtle. I don't have our tubes in there yet for the turbo lifts, but yeah. So you're not going to see a ton of detail. But it's nice. So that is our shuttle bay. And that is our video for this week. Lots of painting, lots of waiting for paint to dry. Still waiting for paint to dry. Over this weekend I will be addressing a few things, so all we have to do is get that railing on, or, well, get our decals on. We got decals that go in here. Get our decals onto the little cargo doors back here. And there's decals that go on the floor, there's decals that go there, there's decals that go here. So we need to do all that before we can assemble this. So we'll get some painting done over the weekend. Wow, this thing's nice and tight now. We'll get that done over the weekend. The blue on the roof. And decal. Get our railing in here. And then it's assembly, and we can move on to the rest of our interior, which is right here. There's our little officer's lounge. Right there. Gonna make some edits to this. And this is our arboretum. This is gonna be a thing. It's gonna be a lot of fun. We're gonna do some model railroading with this and some resin, all kinds of stuff with this. So next week we're gonna finish this, hopefully start off on these things. So I want to thank everyone for watching. I want to thank all my old subs. I want to thank my new subs. You guys are equally awesome. And until next time, you guys take care.